Aloha, my name is Shen. I am a China-born, Hawaii and Tokyo-raised American. 25 years ago, I came to Japan to do music and released an album with a Japanese guy, and we sold, first 3 albums sold 5 million records, physical records in Japan. And I've been spending my whole life connecting Japan to Hawaii to the world. Basically, I brought the word Jawaiian to Japan. Jawaiian is a mixture of Hawaiian and reggae. It's kind of passé to use that term nowadays, but my Hawaiian reggae, but it's kind of borderless. When someone asks me what kind of music do you make, I say, hopefully good music. I don't really feel too much hate from people, which is kind of a weird thing, because usually you hear horror stories of people going into their comments and just being horrified by the comments. And like, honestly, in Japan, I've never gotten hate. The message that we put out has been so positive for so many years that it just seems to have deflected all of that. And being an independent artist means that I don't have to pander to record companies or anyone's will when it comes to what kind of art I want to put out. So, you know, the fact that we released our first album in 2005 under an independent record label and went to the top of the charts in Japan was a miracle in and of itself. But we like to, as opposed to handing it off to a religious figure or, you know, something spiritual, we like to say that it was the perfect accident. You know, we put forth the effort, we put forth the presence, the creativity, and it was just the perfect minds meeting at the perfect time, releasing the right song at the right time. And, you know, that's how you make a bona fide hit. It's something that resonates with people in the moment, at the time, and it takes on a mind of its own. It's like, you know, these viral hits that you hear about nowadays, it's not a bona fide hit. It's something that people feel they have no control over, and yet people try to replicate that, and then to try to get a bona fide hit is kind of a hard thing to do. Now, having said that, you can manipulate all kinds of social media and promotion tactics and whatnot. But to have something that's organic like that, it's, you know, it's 1 in a million thing. And since that was true back in 2005, you know, we've been trying to, and I have been trying to in my solo, to just put out good energy and to enjoy the process and to spread love and aloha and, you know, get people to reflect on themselves and their choices and what they're doing in life and take responsibility for their actions. And more than anything, just enjoy right now. You know, if you don't have a smile on your face, you're not happy. I grew up listening to rock like Guns N' Roses, late 80s, and into grunge, Nirvana, and, you know, Green Day. I like more pop music, so maybe not so like, you know, Korn, you know, that kind of heavy vibe. But at the same time, even music like that, a lot of times they do have these messages that are just incredible and make you look at life a different way. There can be a lot of positivity taken from negativity, and without the contrast, what do we have, you know, really? Having said that, my heart is really hip hop because I grew up in the 90s. I really vibed with Bone Thugs and Harmony because I like to sing as opposed to rap. So, you know, the harmonies incorporated with 808 kicks and rapping. So I try to do all of the different genres if possible. And now I'm branching out into other things too, like country or amapiano, Afrobeat. I like house. I've always liked house, actually. So, I mean, yeah, coming from Hawaii, I listen to so many different types of music, traditional Hawaiian to reggae to hip hop to new age music. Most recently, I listened to Osworld a lot. He's actually from Okinawa. Osworld and JP the Wavy are my favorites. On the one hand, I try to ignore Japanese music. At the same time, I also kind of want to have an ear to what's trendy right now. It can be kind of a trap to be listening to trends and to try to fit into the mold, because as an artist, you know, you're doing it to discover a new self, not to be popular. And if you're making music for awards or trying to impress people, then you're not really making art, you know? And at the core of what I do, I really just enjoy writing lyrics and making music and singing. You know, it's really that simple. I try to keep making music as a hobby in my heart, because if I go further than that and start to think about what's popular or who I can impress with this, it's an endless rabbit hole that you can get lost in. But yeah, like I just mentioned, Oswald and JP the Wavy, and those two guys have a lot of integrity and have a message, and they're trying to do good things. And that's what I try to do, is I try to link with people who have integrity. I've learned there's a lot of people who don't have integrity, and I'm 45 years old now, so as a 45-year-old person in midlife, I finally understand what that is. And in my 20s and 30s, I didn't know what integrity and morality was. I thought I had it, but I didn't have enough experience to see the contrast of what is someone who doesn't have it. In Japanese, they say, we're a messenger as a musician. If you're not saying something, it's kind of pointless. And yeah, it's okay to be all emotional and to pour your heavy emotions into your music so people can feel your pain. But I think we have enough music like that, and it's time to be in a state of grace and a state of presence where we can be trying to help other people rise up and help lift ourselves and our communities and our countries and the world to a level of awareness where it's not just about self. Having been raised by a professor, I do have sort of a philosophically raised mind. At the same time, having an extensive career with artists, I also know how to appreciate art and the creative process. So the fact that I can bring together an intellectual perspective to creativity really helps me to hopefully help people think about life in a different way through a good feeling vibe. So yes, I do try to bring these messages that I have, this philosophy into my music. Otherwise, what am I doing it for, really? I've been getting so much inspiration recently that I've got over 100 demos made, ready to just start collaborating and work with lots of people all over the world. Jawaiian Reggae, again, this is a phrase, a classification, a label that people in Hawaii don't really like nowadays. Hawaiian Reggae, it's a little different than Jamaican Reggae, in that generally the language isn't so patois ridden. It's generally sung in very clean English, clean standard international English, but sung in a manner that's more gospel or R&B. So they have amazing harmonies, and most Hawaii musicians are generally fairly classically trained and can do pretty much anything. Like they'll play jazz on the side, and you're just sitting there like, wow, these people can do anything, really. My first and foremost, Ernie was a very good friend. He passed away. We were on tour in Japan for 2 years together, and it was a great and memorable and a great honor to have him as a friend. He taught me his signature style of playing guitar and ukulele. And more so than anything, he taught me the true love of music and the true aloha spirit. Being able to stand in your power, to go with the flow, to show people love, and at the same time know when to draw the line. A lot of people mistake the word aloha for weakness, but tough love is a real thing, and sometimes aloha is saying no, standing up. And I learned that from Ernie Crus Jr. More than once. Yeah, he was a good friend, and I wish I could see him and make music with him again. I have his name on my neck, actually. Ini was his nickname growing up, and I try to communicate with him on a spiritual level. I try to know that he's out there somewhere. He's connected to everything now, and I don't really have I don't presume to know what happens after you die, but since energy is never created nor destroyed, I just assume you go back to everything. And if that's the case, then, you know, I know he's there. And, you know, he really enjoyed playing music. And I try to remember that and feel that whenever I'm on stage. Every so often, a song comes on randomly and I hear Ernie's voice literally, and the timing is usually exactly when I needed to hear what he's saying. And so, yeah, I mean, I know he's out there, and I try to think of him with a smile, and I know that I'm a better person because I met him, and he did teach me a lot. Yeah, he was a great Hawaiian. I miss him a lot. Philosophically, I try to feel home wherever my heart is. So wherever I feel the safest and feel a sense of community and family. Having said that, you know, Hawaii is one of the easiest places to live in terms of environment. Economically and socially, it can be kind of a challenge. Honestly, I really like moving around. Living in Hawaii for a long time is also nice, but having grown up there, you know, like I know Hawaii. And then also growing up in Tokyo, I see the fast pace and the juxtaposition of how it is between Hawaii and Japan. Having said that, my father's family is from California. My mother's from Holland. So, you know, I've lived in Holland before. I've stayed in California for extended periods of time, not years on end. You know, I really enjoy seeing the differences and the similarities between Hawaiian and Japanese culture. And I really want to bring that message to the world. There is so much to learn from both of these beautiful cultures. And, you know, being able to do it through music is really just, I'm really lucky. Yeah. The greatest clash that I feel is being white. And growing up in Hawaii and understanding now, you know, over 100 years after the overthrow of the kingdom of Hawaii, there's a phrase that they say in Hawaii a lot, white supremacist colonialism. And it's a very hard topic to talk about sometimes. Being white, being Hakujin. I don't like to use the word Caucasian because I'm not from the Caucasus Mountains. I'm not from that side of Europe. I'm Anglo-Saxon. And I have 7 different types of European blood in me, even though I'm just white. But, you know, that can be a hurdle to overcome, especially in Hawaii. Having said that, when I go back home to Hawaii and I talk about anything, oh, Bri, you from here? Oh, yeah, what school you went? Oh, I went to Iolani, 99. Oh, for real? Oh, I have a cousin who went to Dokain, blah, 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 blah. We get into the Hawaii way of speaking. Then I come to Japan and you know, I turn into a Japanese mode. Again, seeing the harmony in Japan and in Hawaii, and then being this outside force coming in and, you know, going back to your other question, not really having a home can be kind of a hard tachichi, a stance or place of existence to hold. But, you know, I've found that, you know, as a chameleon of sorts, I know that as long as I'm in a state of gratitude and respect, and I can hold that with people, there's not going to be any problems. And it really is just when selfishness and arrogance come out that you get conflict. So I just try to hold that line, you know. And as a 45-year-old white male, I've learned how to hold lines a lot better now. And I've been through a lot in the last 10 years that has shown me, you know, sometimes it's not good to be just, okay, whatever you want, whatever you want, whatever you want. You'd be like, no, okay, you're taking advantage of me. Here's the line, stop, you know. And there's something to be said for tone and the way and manner in which you speak to people. But I have started to enjoy drawing the line, you know. And I know that white people talk a lot about boundaries, but my sovereign boundary is here. And, you know, if you're not going to respect me, then I'm going to draw a line and say peace and walk away, you know. Well, it's a fairly simple one, but having a house in San Diego and in Kailua on Oahu and in Yokohama here in Japan. These 3 locations will enable me to continue building this bridge. I am promoting this brand called Kotemer. It's upcycled vintage kimonos. And Kotemer means oceanside because the designer Norio Sato grew up there, and we are really trying to push the beauty of Japanese culture across the world, integrating it with language and music. And hopefully this foundation of art, fashion, music can help people to connect to what it really means to be human and to enjoy life. And the immediate future, that's my goal over the next couple of years. That's what I'm going to be doing. Career-wise, I'm going to be focusing on my solo career. Right now, I'm writing most of my songs half in Japanese and half in English. So, as a haole guy, as a hakujin, as a white dude, singing in Japanese is kind of a rare thing. And, it would be one thing if I didn't speak Japanese and I hadn't been here for the last 25 years trying to become Japanese. But now I think I'm in a really good position to help people around the world understand the beauty of Japan. Having said that, I also want to help Japanese people understand the beauty of their culture, because it's so atarimae, it's so obvious to Japanese people that they've forgotten a lot of the deeper meanings underneath the words that they say, the customs that they practice, that most of Japan isn't like Tokyo. Tokyo's a concrete jungle, and we get inundated with stimulus in this place, but you drive 30 minutes out of Tokyo and it's just an amazing country. There's so much to teach Japanese people and the world about the beauty of Japan, and that's my mission for now. I have a new song out I released early May called Breathe Aloha Now. It's half Japanese, half English, so for people who are dealing with bilingual situations, or people who speak Japanese and people who speak English who are trying to learn each other's language, it's a song that both people can enjoy even if you don't understand the other language. And at the same time, my message is always the same. It's always just throughout the day, be as aware of your breathing as possible. The more you are aware of your breath, the happier you are, the more present you are, and the more you will enjoy your life. Aloha.